We'd now like to call on stage Raul Leal, CEO, SH Hotels, interviewed by Siva, Selvan. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking some time from your busy schedule to sit down with us.
My pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So Siva Selvan, I'm with Long & Foster, but I spent about 25 years in the hotel space. Last 15 years I worked for Four Seasons, but now I'm working for Berkshire Hathaway on the real estate side. When Sharon told me that I'm going to interview Raul, I said, man, I need to wear the hotel hat again and the so-called opposition research. So I went into the website, start understanding what is this brand, SH Hotels. I saw some words I thought probably just want to share with this group. Inspired by nature, conscious design, sustainable architecture, extraordinary comfort, simple idea. So Raul, tell us what is the future of the luxury brands, what you are building.
Well, thank you for the intro, and happy to be here in my hometown. Always a pleasure. I can't take any credit for the One Hotels brand or SH. That's Barry Sterling. I just run the place day to day, but I can't take any credit for what he's done. But essentially, the One Hotels brand was actually something that Barry Sterling came up with around 2008. It was as simple as this. He said, Barry was the founder of W Hotels and the creator of W Hotels and Starwood and tremendous innovator. And I think he said, one day, he said, the W guests are going to grow up. And they're going to want to take care of the planet a little bit more. And I think this planet's ready for another type of brand. So he actually, in 2009, launched the offering memorandum for One Hotels. That's how it came to fruition. And it's really this particular brand. We have 3 different brands, but this particular brand is founded on the idea that, the world is a beautiful place and we want to keep it that way. So it's founded in the ideas that, sustainability is something that's here to stay, but it's broader than about sustainability. Actually, the overall purpose of the brand is really do all the good you can, which is something that stretches beyond the bounds of sustainability and really touches every person that hopefully that stays at the hotel and some of our teammates as well. We also have the Baccarat brand, which is the luxury brand in New York, and I'll tell you about the growth of that brand later. And then we have this kind of kitschy, nostalgic 4-star brand called Treehouse, which is in London and about to grow significantly as well. But that's One Hotel. It was based on the idea that if anybody can do a little bit more about keeping the planet better, one step at a time, we can all kind of get there. And I'll expand on that just a little bit. Recently I went up to Orlando and stayed at a branded hotel, very lovely, which will remain unnamed, on a beautiful lake. And I was staying on the 4th or 5th floor, and I looked down at the lake. And then at the edge of the lake, right next to the pool of the hotel, it was littered with plastic cups and trash. And I was thinking to myself, I said, man, this is kind of what we're talking about, isn't it? This is definitely something within our control. This is not based on some audacious, big goal that nobody understands the scientific or the science behind it. This is about just keeping the place cleaner. And I did take time out of my stay to go speak to the general manager, who was very lovely, and apologized. I said, no apology, but I think it's about drawing attention. Our brand specifically is about drawing attention to nature through innovative design and some of the materials that we use in crafting the experience of the hotel.
Very good. Here. I got a chance to stay once in a business meeting at your New York property. And
great.
I thought previously I worked in a luxury brand. The CEO says that nobody can get close to that employee service. But I looked at your hotel employee culture. It has got love, include, respect, delight, and trust. Tell us how these employees have supported your brand in your expansions. We'll talk about a little bit of your expansion growth and so forth.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting dilemma for us because the brand is growing exponentially around the world. So the broader question for me is how do we maintain and grow that culture as we go into different municipalities, different international cities, and still respect what that city stands for, but are still able to deliver on the brand promise for us. So my point of view has always been that in the industry, we pay a lot of attention to the consumer journey. I mean, a lot. But it's pretty evident during COVID, by the way, that we haven't been paying any attention to the employee journey at all. And we started to think about that, and as we started to tinker with our consumer journey throughout, we started to see if the consumer journey aspirations matched up with what we were providing our team members in terms of training, growth within the organization, and just some level of self-satisfaction that helps attract people back to the hotel business. And there is a disconnect. And I can say that as a 40-year veteran of the hotel business who's worked in a variety of different environments. And I think our biggest challenge today, specifically in this country, is to make sure that we find a way to continue to let people know how wonderful the hotel business is and how much they can learn. And I was recently at an orientation when we launched the One Hotel in Mayfair, London, which is just beautiful. And I spent 1 hour just with the housekeeping team, letting them know and asking them what their aspirations were beyond cleaning rooms. And some of them said, well, I'd like to be a salesperson one day. I'd like to be an accountant one day. And I said to them, I said, you realize that all that stuff is inside your hotel. All you have to do is let people know what your aspirations are, and we can train you to do that. It's wonderful that you clean rooms for us and whatever else, but if you aspire to doing more than that, then there's opportunities inside these hotels because a hotel is a factory of so many different experiences. And if we can let our people learn through those experiences, the truth of the matter is that today, no one is going to stay in the hotel business 40 years like my father did at the same hotel. But if we can give people an opportunity to learn and go somewhere else, and I do believe in karma, and I think the more that we help people, the more it's going to help the industry.
Talking about your future markets, people would say high barrier to entry in real estate terms. You're talking Austin, Cabo, Copenhagen, Melbourne, Paris, and so on. So tell me about what else in your future growth and how you're getting into these markets, typically very high barrier to entry. Talking about Mayfair, I just did some research on that. Basically, you could see the Buckingham Palace from some of the rooms in there. So tell about how you're getting these assets in high barrier entry markets.
Oh, very carefully, for sure. But I think we're basically under development or in construction with 40 projects around the world at the moment, anywhere in between Japan and the Maldives, and everywhere in between. So I think for us, again, the challenging part of it is to understanding the municipality. We do that by making sure that we have, first of all, local partners that understand our position from the brand perspective. And I'm not talking brand standards, because everybody has them, right? And everybody says, oh, they're costly and whatever else. But in our case specifically, we do have to be aligned with people on this brand that understand what we're shooting for, which is about being more than just a hotel. We want to be a place that, we don't want to be another brand that just gets launched in the community and everybody says, oh my God, I don't want those people here. Or why does that building not look anything like the municipality? So we're incredibly sensitive to the design within the individual cities that we go to, but also understanding the culture there, having the right partners, making sure that we hire locally, making sure that we hire local designers and people that understand that. And then we weave the thread of what the brand brings to the table into those hotels. We educate them. But I think our future is not about 1,000 hotels. It's never going to happen, at least not during my life. I think we're going for something that we believe in. We're going for quality. We're building one hotel at a time, and we're saying, does it make sense for us? We'll go unnamed, but there's a pretty significant partner project that a few weeks ago we just decided not to do business with, which people would have said, well, you're crazy, it's such a big project, but it wasn't about that. The partner, we didn't align on the basic principles inside the organization of what it meant to be a one hotel particularly, and that we are serious about the sustainability piece of it, and again, doing all the good you can for the communities that we're in.
Thank you, Raul. Tell us about the residential component. The previous panel said that it's absolutely a critical component today because of the lending regs and cost of lending and so forth. So looking at your portfolio, you do have residential components in your project. So talk about in this future growth, is all your hotels going to be come to the residential component, or it'll be standalone residential and so forth?
Yeah, I do agree with that, specifically for on the luxury and lifestyle side of that. I think the cost of construction certainly today, just the cost of everything has gone up pretty significantly. So if you're going to build a full-service hotel anywhere, and you can't, if you can't get the average rate today, it's just not going to be financed one way or the other. So on the luxury and lifestyle side of it, there's two sides. One, it's a great way to get it financed if you can. You're going to get, and you're also going to get the premium, as the prior panel said. But I do think that consumers today are looking to align with that sort of high-end hotel experience that brings those experiences that they have in a hotel, and they can access them at their convenience. So I think it's pretty critical for the upper upscale and the lifestyle sector and the luxury sector. I think in the middle market, it depends on if there's an opportunity for residential or not, or does it make sense. But I do think that this goes back to something that is about the consumer today and not about real estate or interest rates, regardless about what the real estate people or the banks say about interest rates. The brands today that people are aligning themselves with, and you said tell me about luxury, whether it's luxury or whatever else, today really do have to stand for something. Because there is so much transparency in the world today as opposed to 20 years ago, when people know everything, what your supply chain is, what do you stand for, why are you doing it, and what for. So I think that there'll be a lot of brands in luxury today, nothing to do with the industry, just luxury brands in general, that if they don't change the direction, may disappear in the next 10 years as people reinvent the term luxury. At one of our hotels, again, the Baccarat in New York City is pretty interesting with the ridiculous average rates that hotel gets, but there's two consumers. There's what we affectionately call old money and new money. And it's interesting, they both want one thing, but they both want different things. One of them, they still want execution at a very high level, high service, and they still want price value, no matter what rate they're paying. So it's important to have the corresponding amenities. But they want different things in terms of like activations. They don't typically want that museum-type lobby anymore, where people are just sitting around, very quiet and what forth. They want a bit more activation inside the hotel, more activities. They want a different perspective on wellness. So they're looking for an all-in experience, and that itself is changing the consumer journey and what the new hotel products of the future are going to be. So I do think brands will have to stand for something, and they're definitely going to have to offer more to consumers, especially at that level, than they have in the past.
Gotcha. Looking on your future, 2024, all industry prediction tells luxury class is outperforming the rest of the other hotel classes.
Yeah.
In your view, Raul, how is your 2024 when you look at your portfolio projections in terms of for the audience here who want to hear about in your space what is that would look like?
Well, it's not 2022. As we know, 2022 was through the roof with some false expectations, I think. For us, though, it's holding steady. No significant declines across the board at really any of the products. Rate is growing, but not 20% of the clip. And we are holding occupancy, for the moment. I think there are some fragilities in the market that could materialize in the future, but at the moment, I think the luxury consumer is still willing to pay. And again, if you're offering a brand that is not just about luxury and price point, but also choices, they're willing to pay. But they do want price value. We're hearing that loud and clear that, as the gentleman on the prior panel said, the suite that you paid for $2,000 2 years ago, if you're still charging $2,000 for it today, there better be something else with that suite than just the $2,000 of last minute, the world is over kind of thing, I'm going to pay no matter what. I think that's over. I think people still, even in this sector, want to make sure that they're getting what they're paying for. So we have value added to a lot of our products.
Gotcha. Wellness and F&B offering is a very big part of SH Hotels.
Yeah.
I see they are front on the wellness wellness, leisure, tourism, and so forth. So tell me about how your brand is expanding on the leisure tourism. Projection shows north of 8 billion money is yet to spend on that endeavor.
I mean, I think traditionally you think about wellness and everybody, the first thing they say is, my God, you have to have like an amazing spa or something. And that's going to be your wellness carve out. I think, we have a little bit of everything inside the portfolio. We opened one hotel, the old St. Regis in Honolulu Bay is now a one hotel. We opened a Medi Spa with a 25,000 square foot spa, and great. That's probably the most that we're ever going to do. But on the other end, on the other end of it, I think people are just looking to make sure that even the products that they're using at the hotel are safe, they're not toxic, that you're serving, whole foods, that the stuff that you're sourcing, the uniform for your employees aren't toxic, things like that, that you're thinking about wellness inside the hotels, the filtration system, the water filtration system, things like that. So I think people are looking at wellness from different perspectives, and they will in the future as they get more educated, and I think the world becomes more health conscious and fitter and what forth. They're going to be looking at that. They're going to be saying, well, where am I staying at? And why am I either contributing to this, or can I get what I want out of that? But it doesn't mean that every hotel has to have a 2,500 square foot gym and a 10,000 square foot spa. It just means that people are getting more mindful of taking care of themselves, which I think is a wonderful thing.
Yep. So before we wrap up, we want to open up any question for Raul on the SHS hotel side. Any item we did not cover before we wrap up this session?
Don't worry, I will bite, I think.
It's a mic.
Oh, I have a question. What project was your favorite project so far?
Boy, that's a tough one. If I say that, the team may find out. That can't be a good thing. No, I don't know. I think the one in Hawaii is, I won't kid you, it's been difficult as hell because the manpower issues on the island have been very difficult. And we're actually having to build housing for the hotel because it's just the demographics, and there's been a shift in real estate out there have changed or whatever, but it's a pretty magnificent retrofit it's a lovely St. Regis, but I love it because we gave 30% of the building back to nature. So when you walk in, instead of this low ceiling lobby, you walk into this rainforest with waterfalls and fire pits and what forth, and there's an incredible spa in one of the most beautiful settings in the world, I think, which is, if you've never been there, who's ever seen Jurassic Park, when you see that opening scene with those beautiful mountains, and that's where it is. I never knew Jurassic Park was in Honolulu, but anyway, so seriously, that's where the shot is. So it's an incredible setting. It's been incredibly challenging, but I think the team has really stepped up, and it's been one of those where it's been difficult to get people to move from the other side of the island there, but I think it's going to be magnificent over time as it stabilizes.
Hi, I'm Noah. It's great to listen to the two of you.
Thank you.
So, One Hotels clearly has sort of these pillars, and I keep hearing it around wellness, sustainability, local experiences. And these terms just keep coming up. And we talk about wellness, but could you explain what wellness means to you and to your hotels and to your guest experience? Maybe explain that a little bit more, because it's kind of gets washed around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, I think it starts with right at the point of design and construction. And at the point of design and construction, we have minimum standards relative to just even healthy buildings. Our thing is, again, as I said, if we're not going to have a 10,000 square foot spa or whatever else, what else can we do in terms of what we do inside the hotel? So first of all of the buildings at least have to be minimum LEED Silver certified here, like BREEAM in the UK and what forth, to make sure that the building is efficient, that we're doing the right thing from a health perspective, the filter room programs and whatever else, but also making sure that our menus are also providing choices for consumers that want to stay healthy. And that we're doing things, we have filtered water in every single room in every single hotel that we have and things like that. But it's mirrored, philosophically what we're trying to do is improve people's lives while they're there, give them as much as what we can, and we focus a lot on preferences. So if you log into our preferences program online, it will ask you, what can we do to make your stay better from a wellness perspective? What do you need particularly? What kind of foods can we offer you? What kind of a workout can we offer you? If we don't have it on property, we'll try to get there for you, but to try to provide you what we can. Again, some properties that may not have the most incredible fitness place of all time, but we are going to provide access to fitness clubs and other things around the community. So it's a bit of a holistic perspective on thinking through. You kind of tell us, because there is no one size that fits all. We try the best that we can to deliver it. Do we 100% of the time? We don't. But we're always thinking about it with our team members and asking as much feedback as we can from our consumers. So it's a bit of a broad-based answer, but that's the way that we think it through from the beginning. We have a chance to affect that more in new projects, where we say, okay, like the Honolulu Bay project and some other things that we're opening around the world.
So there's a question here.
No question, but I just really wanted to thank you for your leadership as part of the opening team for Honolulu Bay as a trainer, and seeing you appear is like full circle moment.
There you are.
So
Well, of course.
thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Great job. Sorry, it's hard to see, by the way, your faces, because, I feel like I'm in prison or something, but anyway. I don't know.
So you talked about with the treehouse. Can you explain a little bit more what's on the horizon?
Yeah, so Treehouse is affectionately referred to, although don't tell the team at Treehouse that, but affectionately we refer it to as like, one hotel's little brother or sister. It's a sustainable brand, but a bit more cheeky, playful, doesn't take itself seriously, more bohemian. If you check out the website, the one that's open in London, we have like 5 or 6 under construction around the world, including Miami and Sunnyvale, which opens next year. But it's meant to be a little bit more of a 4-star brand. Lots of music and entertainment, super playful, but not taking itself too seriously at all. Still sustainable, but won't be the sustainable leader as much as One Hotels is, but a different price point. Fun place to stay at. I love the place. Great. You can tell immediately the way you walk in that the team members are just, it's just a different vibe.
You have time for a few more questions. Go ahead.
Of your different sub-brands, how do you decide which one you want to grow faster or slower than another one?
I think one is the leader for us. I think from that perspective, one continues to be the leader with us, although I think, and I think during my time here, however long that is, we'll probably wind up having 51 hotels. And then we'll probably have, Baccarat is a very special brand for very unique locations. Like I was saying to somebody the other day, I just said something I never thought would come out of my mouth. We're looking for the right island in the Maldives to put a Baccarat. I mean, who says that? I don't even know what that means, but I think so. There'll be like 12 or 13 special locations like that around the world. And then Treehouse, I think you'll see lots of uptick on Treehouse because it'll basically focus on conversions. But it's all market driven. Doesn't make any sense when we buy the asset. And we provide value. We own some, and then we obviously manage all of them. But can we provide value to our investment group, including ourselves? So it is a bit of a real estate decision on which brand fits where, and can we afford to build it and operate it properly. Great.
Hi, thank you, Raul.
Thank you.
I just wonder, with this question that I'm about to pose to you, I'm a Treehouse guy. And when you say Treehouse, wouldn't it be like one of the premier features to have a real Treehouse resort as a counterpart to Treehouse, and be able to diversify that and brand that to something that would be unique for the environment, everything else, teaching aspects, localization, United States versus pulling people in from all around the world?
Yep.
You're right in my wheelhouse. I'm like, holy.
I totally agree. I think, and it's something that we've absolutely discussed internally, many times, Barry and I think probably the best answer is that probably we haven't gotten there yet at this point, but it's certainly something that we're targeting for sure. We've looked at it many times. We actually looked at a project in Costa Rica, which we thought would be perfect for this, but we couldn't execute on the land for it. So I think it all has arms and legs, I think. I think all 3 brands will continue to move in different directions, but I certainly think Treehouse, exactly what you're saying, has a lot of bandwidth in different directions, and I think that would be one of them, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else before we wrap up? Thank you, Raul.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much.